the energetics of grief really does sit in the lungs. And I was like, I just don't have time for this. But everything started to shift. Hello, and welcome to the Philosophy podcast, where we get to explore the art of intuitive healing and holistic leadership. I'm your host, Fionna Findley, the professional chatterbox. This podcast isn't here to give you all the answers. It's here to remind you that you already have them. My hope is that by sharing my experiences, you'll find something in common, something that lands, and something that actually helps you deeply connect with your own truth. With everything that I offer, I invite you to take what you need and leave what you don't. This space is for exploration, transformation, and discovering what true freedom really feels like and looks like for you. So let's dive in. Today's episode is quite a deeply personal one, and I really do hope that I give it the justice it really does deserve. Everything that I do comes from the heart, and this one really is deep in there. So, today, this episode is for the woman that's holding everything together while quietly falling apart on the inside. It's for the mother, it's the daughter, it's the leader trying to navigate grief and chaos and change. It's about how do we even, in the most darkest, deepest, broken moments that we're called home to spirit or called home to ourself or really asking us to turn inwards. It's this morality check, and it's also a soul's invitation. When my mum died, it was quite sudden. She had a massive stroke at home, and my dad was absolutely devastated. We all were, but they were married, been together for 50 years. I watched as my dad tried to come to grips with this information. My son, the community, everyone that knew my mum, they really loved her. And it was such a shock. And this rippled through our family for such a long time and held us hostage a little bit as well. My dad was not just devastated, but his health declined. So, because he lost so much weight, he was overdosing on his blood pressure medication and all sorts of things. We were so fortunate that we had a good group of a healthy support network. Food was being delivered, care was being given to my son just by someone turning up and bringing a child over to help play with him. And in those days, months, we really needed to lean on people. And I had so much on my plate. And as a 40-plus-year-old woman, most of us are caring for children, but we're also caring for our elders as well and our senior members of our family, whether it's your parents, your aunts, your uncles, whatever it is. And it's called the sandwich generation. At the time, I just didn't know what to do. My mum was the matriarch. She's the one that supported people. She's the one that nurtured when we were sick, not feeling well. She did that. And now it felt like it fell on my plate. But I had a really demanding business, which I loved and enjoyed. And then at the time, it was just another thing. I had contractors, I had people that were relying on me, patients, and I really felt just the world closing in on me. I was moving house. I'd bought a house and I was in the midst of moving and in the middle of it. That wasn't going to plan. It wasn't smooth. I don't think anyone's moving plans are smooth. And I was also dealing with my own health issues. Grief really, the energetics of grief really does sit in the lungs. My health started to decline and I just couldn't shake this lung infection. And I was like, I just don't have time for this. But everything started to shift. My friendships shift. Like friends that I'd been close to for many, many years have actually fallen away. So there was more grief, more change. My dog was sick. I found a lump on him and I couldn't risk putting him under anesthetics because he's a senior dog. And I started to cling on to things. But I kept showing up. I kept showing up every day. I kept trying to be strong. I kept trying to show that I was capable. But on the inside, I was absolutely shattered. I was fragmented. I was not in a good place. And strangely enough, it was in that shattering and that messiness that something started to shift. It's like when you look at a butterfly, when it's a grub and it goes into its cocoon, it's a mess inside. No one really knows what it looks like. It's just like soup. And there's no structure to it. There's no form. There's no strength. There's no nothing. It's soup. If you were to cut it open, it's nothing. It's not a butterfly. It doesn't have wings. It's not a grub. It doesn't have feet or skin or anything. It's just soup because it's going through a transformation. And that's exactly what it was for me on the inside. I was a messy soup that you could not distinguish where my strength was, who I was. I had no idea. Who was I? It completely catapulted me into another realm. But I just couldn't figure out life. So everything that I relied on to be true in my world, which I heavily relied on for confidence, for reassurance, for knowing, for that's the way my life looks, I couldn't do that anymore. It just, my life was unrecognizable. And then things started to shift more. I couldn't pretend I was fine. I was completely raw. I was stripped of control. Like my mum died of a medical condition, especially back then. I worked in the medical health industry. How could I have not seen this? I seen her the day before. So lots of guilt. And I knew that she had unmanaged chronic disease, and I'd gently ask her, but she would say that she's got it covered, her doctor's got it covered, and basically, in a nice, gentle way, she was telling me it's not my business. So I respected that. She was my mum, and one day I turned up the day before she had the stroke. She looked really tired, and I said, "Oh, have you had a nap?" And she snapped at me, "No, I've been working." And it's like, I think it's awesome to have naps, and more so now, but even back then, and even her in her 60s felt like that rest wasn't allowed, that rest wasn't productive. And that's something that I've really focused and tried to transform in my world, that rest is totally okay and it's needed. It's just like breathing. And I'm talking more than just your sleep, right? So if some days you're exhausted, rest is the most productive thing you can do. So what I did when I moved into my house, I got a bath because water calms me. You probably heard multiple times all through my stuff I talk about my baths, and I call it bath fee and then work fee. That's what my coach and I talk about. So there's operating theatre fee and then there's bath fee. Bath fee is much nicer. She's in a much nicer place. So when I was sitting in that, I was actually hearing something that was very quiet inside me. I started to read different things, and I read the best book at the time because I do believe things come across your path, just like you're listening to this now. There's a reason it's come across, your path and it's entering your ears. I read this book called Mirrors of the Earth by Asia Sula, and the way she described her harmony with plants and nature really resonated with me because it gave me the structure and the framework that I didn't have anymore. I didn't have the answers. I didn't have the diagnosis, the treatment, that it'll be okay because you can't bring mum back. So it was such a good induction into listening to the quietness. And Asia has this beautiful way of conveying that softness in a profound way. So I'm here to let you know that even in your darkest moments, they are not the end. While there's breath in your body, this is not the end. The darkest moments are here because they return you back to source, to yourself, to your home, to your inner truth, to your inner architect, to your inner wisdom, to God, to whatever you want to call it, name it, frame it. But it's the subtle one. It's the quiet one. It's not driven by externalities, ego, wants, desires. It's very safe, content, and grounded. And it's always the quiet voice in there that we tend to drown out with alcohol, distraction, ego, wants, desires, intellectualizing everything, thinking, all that. That drowns out our inner wisdom. So when life starts to break you open like this, it actually starts to remove those distractions, those screaming, egotistical, intellectualizing distractions. It's that mental noise that it says, I've got this on my own. And that's the ego. It's saying, I got this. You don't need anyone else. You got this. You can do this. I'm going to do it all on my own. And I'm notorious for this. I know that my ego loves to take the reins. Who doesn't? So when you're in this state of, we'll call it metamorphosis, I suppose, going back to the butterfly analogy, you stop resisting, you stop overthinking, because at that point in my life, I had nothing more to give. I had no more energy. I was lucky to brush my teeth. And I even think I went a week without washing my hair, but not by choice, just because I didn't remember and I didn't have the want for it. Yeah, it stops you from overthinking, expending the energy, because a lot of the time when we have this energy in us, we are choosing that distraction and that ego and that externality choice. But when you take that all away, what have you got? If you still got breath in your body, you've got yourself and the quietness and the wisdom. And I had to surrender, right? And this act of surrender actually reconnected to the one thing that can truly guide me back into the world with harmony, peace, and love. And that was my intuitive self. It's the spirit. It's in the deepest part of my grief where I just bawled and howled. My eyes were so sore. It was like I was also having a tantrum because I couldn't bring her back. I couldn't fix this. I couldn't take this pain away. I couldn't take it away from my dad. I couldn't take it away from my son. What do I do with this? I had to surrender. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is the path that I'm walking. What do you want me to do? And it's pretty funny that I asked that. I still think I needed to do something. I just had to surrender. So this actually helped as well. And another book, Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment, he just details it so beautifully. And I return to this surrender book a lot in my challenges in life because I have to surrender. A lot of it's out of our control. We think we have control, which is totally funny. And when I'm sitting here all nice and calm, I can truly laugh at it. But you stick me in a high pressure business situation or work. Yeah, I got control, man. I got this. Fee's on the ball. You're having a sales call with me. I'm on the ball. I got this in control. It's absolute crazy talk. That is ego. Right? I had to really, well, I didn't have to, I suppose. I didn't have a choice because I had no energy. I had to let it go. And that is what cracked me open, the actual act of surrender. And this is where the comfort started to come in. This is where I got to converse with spirit. I got to feel in connection with mum again. I saw the rain. And I heard the whispers, I am the rain, Fee. I am the rainbows. I am the clouds. And it's such a beautiful connection because I know she's still here. It's just not in physical form. And this is what strengthened my spiritual connection. And doing so started to heal my mind, which then healed my body. So, how did I find this light inside the dark? Just a quick pause to drop something into your heart space. If you've been doing all the things, ticking those boxes, striving for success, but still feel like something's missing, then this is your invitation to go deeper. The Inner Architect Masterclass isn't just another program. It's a 9-month sacred container where we get to bridge the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. It's for the woman who's ready to lead herself first, to stop handing over her power and to finally create the kind of health, wealth and fulfillment that's aligned with her wiser self, her inner architect. We blend strategy with spirit because I don't believe you should have to choose between purpose and prosperity or health and your responsibilities. Yes, I'm talking to you, the fearless leader and overwhelmed mother. I see you. Inside this, you'll find structure, soul, community, and real transformation with simple, easy steps that you can marinate in, try it on, and come to a group that's going to support your transformation. There's a reason it's 9 months. it's a rebirth. Head to fionnafinley.com/masterclass or check out the show notes to learn more and apply. And if your body just whispered yes, trust her. She knows what she's doing. Your crisis or chaos at the moment. Death is so permanent. It's non-negotiable. But if you're going through a diagnosis, if you're going through a divorce, if you're going through a downturn financially, career, family, whatever it is, whatever the thing is, it's your opportunity to go inwards and to hear that little voice. So let go of knowing. You don't know. We think we know. We are celebrated for knowing in society. Intellectual achievements is just something that we really pride ourselves on as humans. But what if we don't know? Ancient wisdom was built on this. They had a knowing, like an innate knowing, but they didn't know, and they were happy. And you don't need to know the answers. You just need to feel. Spirit, God, universe, inner architect, they all meet you in your honesty and not in your plans. So when you're honest and you're surrendering and you are cracking your heart open and you're just laying out like a messy cocoon, that is when you get met there. Invite the stillness. So this is something that really being sick forces you to do when you're nursing heartbroken father, son. I invited stillness in because I couldn't do anything for them, right? It's painful, but breathe into that achiness because that's when you get connected to source again. I return to ritual. I speak lots about rituals. It doesn't have to be prescriptive, right? It doesn't have to be by the book or by whatever religion it is. It can be your ritual because when you do it with intention and discernment and from the heart, that is the ritual. That is what invokes the magic and the connection to spirit and inner wisdom. Sometimes I light a candle. I speak to my mum. I cry on the ground. I hug a tree. I scream at the beach. I scream in the water of the ocean. Whatever it is, there's something that comes up with a conversation on the inside, and it is more wise and honest than what my brain can come up with. I like to ask one gentle question sometimes. What do I need to do? Or what is it you want me to know? And then another question, I guess, at the moment, even today, is what do I need? What do I need on the inside? Sometimes it's just more peace and stillness, rest. Sometimes it's more connection. Sometimes it's just quiet so I can hear the real wisdom come through. And then I had a trust that it will rebuild and it will come in its own time. 12 months post mum's, when we call it her angel anniversary. So that's when she got her wings. So her angel anniversary. It's really tough. And I thought, yeah, we got this. It's 12 months. No, that was not the case. 2 years later. So 2 years angel anniversary. Is it any better? I say better in inverted commas. No. What has shifted is that I'm able to carry the grief without the sting, without the feeling of being suffocated and drowned in my own mess and resistance to what is. Trusting that the rebuilding will come, you can't force it. You can't put a time frame on it. Even when you see someone still in grief, oh, they should be over it by now. As soon as you hear or say the word should, you know it's shit. But you can't do that. Everyone processes it differently. And I can tell you some days I feel absolutely connected and okay and at peace with what's happened. And then other days I just have to look at a handwritten note of hers and it stings still, cripples me. It's like someone, knocked me behind the knees. The whole thing about trusting the rebuild, the thing about trusting the rebuild is you just have to trust where you're at the time. Because wanting the rebuild, you're wanting future. You can't force it. Time is irrelevant. It will happen in all good time. The universe has a plan. God has a plan. And you can try and mess with it, but that's resistance and it creates a lot of suffering. If you're here and you're exhausted, if you're grieving, grief can not just be from a death of a loved one, it can be a relationship breakdown. It can be a changing of jobs. It could be an actual transformation, like into motherhood. And as beautiful it is as bringing a child in, it's a death of a past way of living or that you recognize. Grief is so funny because things that you wanted in life can also trigger some grief. If you're feeling this and you're feeling the sadness and the grief, you're not failing. It's a sign that you're awake. This is the unraveling process that you actually need. It's not a weakness. It's your truth coming out. It's your path being fulfilled. And you're not the only one. We're all going through it at some form, some flavor, some spectrum of it. We're all there. We were never meant to navigate these life shifts alone or in silence. That's what tribe's all about. And if you look at chakras, I mean, this is the base chakra right there, the base, the first chakra, the root chakra. It's about tribe, it's about support. And like I said about when mum was in hospital and passed, people were giving us food. That was our tribe. They were there. No one can offer wisdom. No one can make it better by bringing her back. That's because that's the only thing that would make us feel better. But they are there to support, and support come in so many different ways. I had a friend come up and stay in an Airbnb and take my little boy for some swims so I could catch my breath. I had food delivered. My freezer was full. My fridge was full. We feasted, not that we were hungry. We were still dropping weight because our bodies just weren't processing it, but we needed to eat. So you're not to do this alone, and you're not to do this in silence. And whatever you're feeling is valid. I really want you to really get this, is that you're allowed to be in a mess, and you're allowed to still be powerful, and you're allowed not to know everything. You do not have to know everything. And if you're standing in this sacred season, one where you're caring for others and you're being called to care for yourself, you are bridging generations. You are healing ancestral things up the tree. You're holding grief and giving life all at the same time. There's always two sides to the coin. And everything, yin and yang, transformation, it's all connected. It's all with flow. You can't have a high tide without a low tide. You can't have a sunset without a sunrise. You can't have a winter without a summer. It's all part of it. And this season, it's just the breaking of everything. It's the unraveling. It's the falling away. Think of it like a Marie Kondo, like a decluttering of your insides and your life and things. And then you get to rebuild and you get to transform in a different way. It's the perfect opening for your own rebirth, for your own transformation. Who do you want to be? Not ego, who do you want to be? Who are you and how are you going to bring that out? Because this is your connection to something greater. It's a place where you're living not from force, but you're living from devotion. Devotion in that sense, like it's such a high vibration. It gives us homeostasis. So our cells are happy, our immune system's happy, everything is in harmony and balance. This isn't the end, is what I'm saying. It's the beginning. It just needs for you to go deep and start to align. And to do that, we have to undo, chuck out, rebuild. And all that takes time, discernment, patience, self-love, and compassion. So if this resonated with you, I'm so truly grateful. So thank you for letting me share this. And if you need support, reach out. I've got plenty of things that you can access if you want, or you can jump into my diary. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. It's with the most love and gratitude that I say keep calm, keep curious and connected, and I will talk to you next time.